Hi, my name is Morgan with Daydream Sites, and I am going to be walking you through your new Sahara web template. So in this series of videos, we are going to cover everything that you need to know to customize this template and work with Showit to make your dream website. First things first, you received a download pass when you purchased the template, and you can actually access the template by clicking on this button here. This is going to bring you to this page where you'll see that you have the share code for this template. Now, there's a couple steps we need to take care of before we input our share code. If you're not already on Showit, we definitely want to get you signed up. So what you're going to do is click here on this site, and it's going to take you to the different pricing options. Now, if you want to take advantage of the podcast page and the blog template on this site, you're definitely going to want to choose an option that has a blog. The Showit just regular plan for $19 a month with the annual discount or $24 with the monthly plan is great if you are not planning to use a blog or you're not ready to set up a blog, but you're probably going to want to get the Showit and Basic Blog subscription. If you are going to migrate a blog from a different site, for example like Squarespace, and you have a lot of blog posts already, you might want to choose the advanced blog option because it allows you to migrate those posts. But just take a look at the details and choose the plan that's best for you, and go ahead and get signed up for Showit. Once you have your account all set up or you're logged into a pre-existing account, what you're going to do is navigate back to this page, and you're going to copy this share key right here. This is going to give you access to your template. So we're going to copy this and we're going to go into our Showit account. Once inside, if you see something like this, you're just going to click on create a new site or the existing site that's in your account. If you are already on a site, you're going to go down to the bottom left-hand corner and you're going to click create a new design. Once you do so, you can go over to your designs and we're going to click add design to library. This is where you'll input the share key. Once that share key is entered, you'll click here and then you'll be able to select that design from your media library, and you will populate this screen here. And this is your template. Now, if you're not familiar with Showit, don't worry, it's super user-friendly and you will get it by the end of this video, I promise. But I did want to point out a couple of things that make kind of navigating the site a little bit easier and sort of give you a brief overview of the layout of Showit. Now, the most important thing is that you'll see here we have two copies of the site. We have both the desktop version and then we also have the mobile version. One of the things that's amazing about Showit is you can customize them independently of each other, but when you're first starting out or you're first starting to customize a design, it can be a little intimidating to view both the desktop version and the mobile version at the same time. So something that we like to tell users is that they can actually turn this off and on. So if you go down here to the bottom left, you'll see we have show mobile only or show desktop only. And when I click on these, it's going to switch to just that version of the site. Now, it's always important to double check how changes are affecting on both the desktop and the mobile version. But for the majority of the time, you can start on the desktop and then pop over to the mobile version and see how your changes are taking effect. If that's easier for you, that's awesome. If not, if you want to view them side by side, you'll just click on show mobile and desktop, and then you're able to view them side by side. It's just helpful to know. You also can zoom in and out on here using these buttons at the bottom, the reset zoom, you have zoom out and zoom in, and this works on all the different views. So let's talk about the next setup here. So we have this left panel where we have our list of pages, and then we have our blog templates, which includes your podcast page, and then we have site canvases, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So this is sort of your main navigation. Up at the very top, we have our site settings, our design settings, and our media library. We also have this page tab, so this gives you specifics on the exact page. So right now we're on the home page. If we click onto the page, you can see all of the canvases that make up this page. So inside of a page, you have pages, and then inside of pages, you have canvases, and then inside of canvases, you have the actual elements. So for example, if I were to click on this canvas that's highlighted in blue on the home page, you'll see it opens this little folder, and these are all the elements that make up this canvas. This brings us to this panel over here. When I click on individual elements inside the canvas, this panel is going to change with the different styling options and different settings that I can use to customize whatever I click on. So I like to think of this as like a magic panel. It is going to pull up the properties for whatever I have selected. So right now I have text. It's going to bring up my text styling options. If I click on this button, it's going to bring up the shape style options along with some other options that I have for styling. So just know that this panel is going to change based on what you click on. You also have the option to add elements to the site down here. So if you want to add text, if you want to add things like galleries or shapes, and then of course you can add photos by using this button here. So that's the general layout. Let's talk about the first steps that you need to take when customizing your site. So we're going to navigate back to the Site tab here so we can see all of our pages as well as our site settings. The first thing that you're going to want to do is click on Site Settings, and it's going to bring up this Properties window. Here you'll see the site name, which you can change to whatever fits your brand. This is also where you can use the domain setup and where you can add a favicon. So in order to set up your domain, you're going to click on Edit, and then you are going to select your domain if you're already on Showit, or if you have not connected to domain yet, this will populate with a domain setup wizard. It's going to look something like this, where I'll ask you some questions about your domain name. You'll enter it here, and then you'll answer some questions like, do you currently have a website up? Do you have a blog already or an email at this domain? And then you'll just follow the setup wizard. Once you complete that, if you chose a blog subscription, Showit will prompt you to go ahead and get your blog set up. And then once you go through that setup process, it's very similar. You just enter the domain name and answer a couple questions, and then Showit will contact you via email or messenger with your DNS records, and that is what you'll use whether you have like Google domains or GoDaddy. Those are the records that you'll input to finish connecting your website. Once you input those records into either Google Domains or GoDaddy or Bluehost, wherever you purchase your domain name, you'll want to come back to Showit and then just send them a message and ask for what's called a SSL certificate. And this is where Showit will go in and make your site secure so that when you're ready to launch, you have no issues. It's super simple. You just use the little messaging feature here, and you'll get a reminder to do that once they send you the records. You can choose to connect your domain and do the setup when you're ready to launch, or you can do it first thing when you get into your template, and then you'll publish your site. Once you publish it, those changes will go live. Now let's talk about some other properties inside of this site settings tab. So we talked about adding your custom domain and getting that all set up. The blog, when you connect your records, you'll go to edit and then just select the domain that you have for your main site. You'll select that for the blog. Third party is where you can enter in some Google Analytics information. If you have not used Google Analytics before, it's a free tool, and it gives you some really good insight about how people are visiting your site, where your traffic's coming from, how many views you're getting, that kind of stuff. So it's a really cool feature to have. You're going to get what's called a measurement ID after you set up Google Analytics, and this is where you'll input it into your site. And then the social feature is where you can put in your social media links, so Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, all that good stuff. And then in the template, you'll be able to select them and it'll populate everywhere. So that's a really handy feature. The last thing you want to remember to do inside the site settings is set a favicon. This is the little image that appears in the tab next to your site name. So we've covered a lot in this video. We talked about how to add the template to your Showit account, what account you need, whether it's one with a blog or an advanced blog. We also talked about adding your domain and getting that set up. And once all that's complete, you are ready to go to the next video, which is the actual customization of your site. So in the next video, video number 2, we're going to be talking all about the design settings. So we talked about site settings, and we're going to go down to the design settings where you're going to start to put in your brand elements. So join me in video number 2 for that.